On most days, I sound like TV static, like soft rain on a breezy night, hiding in the background, hoping to hide and stay inconspicuous, hoping to drown out those unwanted thoughts, the ones that keep buzzing in your ears like a mosquito at night. Do not believe my silences. Do not believe my silences to be signs of a vacant mind, for my mind is the vibrant kitchen, smelling of tea leaves and cake and ideas and passion. Do not believe my grace. Do not believe my grace, for they are just a cover for the dazzling rainbows inside. Listen closely. My static sounds like stolen kisses and smiles in the silence of the night. My static is a cover for the happiest mayhem you shall ever know. Because you're a school corridor bursting with chatter between classes. But I'm a library, bubbling with books of singing poets inside.
Hi, and welcome back to another exciting episode of SYWK Podcast. My name is Desmond, and I'm happy to collaborate with the Book Bakers and Locksley Hall Publishing. For today's episode, I have an amazing author who has written a beautiful book called A Vibrant Autopsy. It's a sensitive, though provoking poetry collection, and for sure, you will enjoy and love reading it. In this episode, you will get to know more about the book, and also the author has beautifully narrated a few poetries from it. So listen till the end because you're going to enjoy our conversation. If you're looking for something beautiful and meaningful to read, you must check out this book, which is called A Vibrant Autopsy. The book link is available in the description. Also, if you enjoy our conversation, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel. It will really help us get such amazing content. Now, without wasting any time, let's welcome the author and my guest, Sanah Singh. So welcome Sanah Singh to my podcast channel SYWK. It's an honor to speak to you and talk about your book, A Vibrant Autopsy.
Thank you so much, Desmond. It's an honor to be here.
Yes, I'm really excited because this is my first time interviewing an author who has written a poem, because normally I interview all authors who have written horror stories or different kinds of stories. But this is really exciting for me because, as I was telling you before the recording, I'm not a reader, but I got introduced to this community and I'm, enjoying reading. So now it's, for me, it is a new genre where I can start reading poetries as well. So before talking about your book, if you can tell us about your journey and if you can introduce yourself to our listeners.
So I am a marketing manager and I have been writing since I was a child. So writing is something that comes naturally to me. I'm not someone who expresses herself as easily while speaking as I do, when I'm writing. Yeah, so it's a form of catharsis for me. It just happens naturally.
That's nice. So now if you can tell us the top 3 things about your book, which will make it a must read for our listeners.
So there are no top 3 things about it. I'll just explain the themes of the book.
Sure.
It starts with the first section of the book is titled I Wonder. This has pieces that are filled with wonder, as in curiosity. It has poems that talk about where do the missing socks go and, take you on a journey of innocence, of asking questions, of looking at the world, daydreaming. And then we come to the second section. So I think I've tried to capture the journey of being human in my book. At first, you look at the world, you observe the world, and then you come to your own self. So the second section is titled I Feel. In the section called I Feel, I've tried to touch upon all the different feelings that a human being experiences. It doesn't have only say, poems on love or heartbreak or hope. I've tried to touch all emotions. I
Okay.
personally feel that, out of all the qualities which anyone can have, I'm in love with the quality of honesty. And I feel that a part of living an honest life is really treating all emotions as they are. You don't have to drown in an emotion, you don't have to suppress it, you just acknowledge it. So you will find different pieces on every emotion. You'll have pieces, there's a piece called Lunch Date with My Demons, in which I am sitting with my anger and my fear and sadness and depression, and all of us are having a chat. So that's just something that will be there in this section. Now, after feelings, we move on to longing. I believe that every human being has this deep longing in themselves to be something more than what they currently are. You can long to be in love. You can long to belong to your people. You can long to merge with the divine. You can long to create art and express yourself. So there are pieces on different forms of longing. And I'm not sure if you're a spiritual person. I call myself curiously spiritual. So I've read quite a bit of religious scriptures from across religions. And I find that longing features a lot in our prayers too, right?
Correct.
We long to meet that light form of God, the universe. So that's what's captured in I Long. And then we come to the last portion of the book called I Am, in which, there are glimpses of understanding who we really are beneath all that social conditioning, after we forget who we were supposed to be.
That is quite interesting. So you have basically 4 parts: I wonder, I feel, longing, and I am. So if I can ask you to read something from your book, from all the parts, starting from I wonder, then I feel, longing, and I am. So it will be more interesting for our listeners to get to hear the thing from the author itself.
From the part called I Wonder, I'll choose a short poem. It's called Where Do the Missing Socks Go? Where do the missing socks go? Do they hide with the dreams that I forgo? Does my mother use them to wipe off the glittery mess that I leave at the painting table? Did I lose them at the park? The time when I swung to touch the skies and etch fluffy clouds floating in turquoise in my restless mind. Where do the missing socks go? Did they always want to be free? Is that why they keep sliding down, my legs dabbed with sunscreen? Why do I forget so much? Where I kept my spectacles and if I locked my door. But don't forget sadness when I'm alone. I stare at a mismatched pair in my drawer and they look back at me so sadly. Did I lose their better halves? Do they feel incomplete and blame me? So I take some paint and sit down to work. I'm making sock puppets of socks mismatched. Every sock has a purpose. No sock doubts her existence. Not on my watch.
Wow. Such a nice way of putting it down. Before going ahead, the first part, what you narrated, does it have many meanings or it will have only just one meaning? Because what I understood was that, okay, chalo, ek socks nahi hai, to fir bhi dusra ka socks is there, like that person is still there. Like I'm giving an example of a person, like does it mean the same thing or I am understanding something else?
I think the beauty of poetry is that everyone has a different understanding of the poem. And actually what you're saying is something which I wanted to express as well. I wanted to express, the childlike wonder bit of it leading to introspection. Because at the end of the day, a lot of human beings, today, all of us, I think we detest being alone. yet in our era, a lot of things don't work out and people are alone. So, it's a piece that starts with wonder. It starts with wondering that, do your socks even want to be on your feet? Is that why they keep sliding down? Do they want to be free? And then you end on a note saying that, even if you're a mismatched sock, even if you're like a sock that has lost his or her better half, you can still be a sock puppet.
Yeah.
You can still have your own identity and be happy. You don't have to lose your sense of purpose.
Yeah, because when I was listening, it took me to a different zone where I was thinking about two people, and then when they get separated, how even after getting separated they can still live their life. It's not that if you get separated your life is over or something. This is what I have understood. I hope I'm not wrong in my understanding.
So the thing is, nobody is wrong. When you're reading a poem, the whole point is that it moves you in some way. For you it can be for you, and for me, and for somebody else it can be a piece that talks about strength and individuality in being by yourself, and you don't lose your purpose just because you don't have someone by your side. For somebody else it can just be a light-hearted poem. And that's how I've tried to keep it. Because I think there are so many times where you're in a different mindset. If you don't want to read something very heavy, it won't be just in your face.
Okay.
It'll leave you with something to think about, but it will also be sort of a light-hearted read with just a different perspective on things.
So this is a very interesting part about your book, because every reader will assume and feel something different. That's something nice and interesting. So now let's go to the next part, which is I feel. I hope we can feel this as well when we are listening to you.
So I'll read out this piece called How Does It Feel to Be Orange? How does it feel to be orange? To be the brightest, warmest part of the family fireplace, and have hands reach out to you to borrow your warmth. How does it feel to be orange? To expand like liquid honey, like air, like love, and dissolve in the lungs of men. To be like the first kiss of love, and be the apricot blush hanging above nectar-like smiles. How does it feel to be orange? Asks blue. How does it feel to touch the reds of the rainbow and live a spirited life, seeping with joy, instead of being trapped in snow-capped peaks, admired from a distance, but rarely known? How does it feel to dance as the sun kisses the earth and color men with light-hearted smiles, and not sit in the silence of the space above the clouds, at the bottom of the ocean, watching life pass you by? To be orange is to burn till you're blue, he said. Every flame has a blue center, coated with peach. To be orange feels like the passionate kisses of the night that merge into the peaceful turquoise morning embraces. It feels like the restless urge to write that translates to blue ink on parchment. It feels like a teary-eyed smiles, like the bright day that knows that it can rest in the arms of the night, like the eager fires of youth that melt into the deep oceans of age. There is a time to toil and a time to rest. Like the sun, the orange sun burning during the day, so he can dissolve into the deep blue sunset.
That was something completely different as compared to what you narrated before, and this is all about feeling, and yeah, that is really nice. If you can explain more about this.
So this is more like a conversation. The color blue is asking the color orange about how it feels to be orange. Because, the color blue is always associated with being aloof. The color blue is, like that lonely color on the snow-capped mountain peak. And there will be rarely anyone, who will climb that peak and understand the true meaning of that solitude. Whereas orange is associated with happiness. It's always associated with people, with belonging, with passion, with kisses, with, restlessness. And to me, I think blue is that heavy color which holds a lot in itself. So it's almost like, someone who is going through the lows of life, through sorrow and sadness, is asking somebody else, how it feels to be so happy. And then orange replies that, they're meant to merge to one. That, a flame is orange on the outside, but because it's blue in the middle. The orange sun melts into the blue, the turquoise night, and how the restless urge to write and express yourself might feel orange, but that translates to the blue ink on paper. It's more about it can just be a conversation between colors. It can be imagination. It can just take you through this journey, leave you with your own questions. And it can also be an acknowledgement that there's no emotion that you should just shut down. There's no one emotion which is really happy. I think in our generation, if you talk about emotions, then happiness, is that popular kid on campus.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to appear as happy as they can. Your Instagram feeds, they're filled with people who are always telling you, I'm so happy, look at me, look at me, look at my partner, look at my family, look at my job, look at my wealth, look at what I'm eating. But everyone hides their sadness. Everyone has it.
Yeah, everyone does.
So it's just a piece to, say that emotions are meant to tumble into each other.
You have to express it at the end. That's the main part. But the thing is, the way you wrote it, because see, it is very simple to hear, but to write and to imagine and to put that concept of orange and blue, it's really hats off to you how you wrote it. Because now when you explain to me, yes, it sounds simple, but it must have taken a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of imagination to sit down and write this. So beautiful. So now let's go to the next thing, which is longing.
So I'll read this piece from the section I Long, and this piece is called The Last Flight. I have longed for wings my whole life, but now I wish at times to trade them for roots. I'm a little tired of building nests of moss and twigs, suspended in chaos, unable to keep me warm on cold winter nights. I fit cotton candy clouds, empty parks bursting with memories, and laughter around the dining table into a suitcase, ready to leave home once again, to mold other houses into shapes I can dissolve in, like a caterpillar in a cocoon, safe in darkness, reminding me faintly of cold nights and heavy quilts that I leave behind. But every sunset, peach-like, which I could bite into, goads me on, to leave behind my shadows and fly with rusted wings a little bit longer, to resist the temptation of rest and float instead into the lap of imagination one last time.
Oh, this was also completely different. How do you imagine this? Like, what's your process when you write? What's your process? Do you have you taken down this through someone's life? It's from your experience, or it's just your imagination when you write all this?
So I think there is a basic inkling of, what I want to express. There is some sort of longing. Like, in this poem, the person is saying that I've always wanted wings, but now I want roots. You start by reading and you feel that, whoever is writing this is really tired. But then that person wants to take one last flight. She says that, I still won't give up. I'll have to leave the comfort of my home. I'll pack all these memories, the memories of empty parking lots, of laughter at the dining table. I'll pack all of that in a suitcase and I'll take that with me. And I'll fly with rusted wings because I long to create something more. I'll go beyond my comfort zone and I'll take one last leap into imagination.
It's quite beautiful because I feel that there is a lot of emotions which you have and you have expressed that in words, and it has come out really beautiful. If you have any message to the book bakers or to Mr. Sohail Mathur or to the people who are listening, you can just share a small message to them.
So I just want to say thank you. I first want to say thank you to everyone who has taken out the time to listen to this conversation, and to everyone who's going to make the decision to read the book. Because I feel, especially for poetry, it's not like you watch a movie and it's already there, it's already alive, you're just watching it. But a piece of poetry comes alive when you imagine it in your head. There's no blue or orange in the book. When you choose to read it, when you choose to interpret it, you create meaning, you create stories, you create color and scenery in your own head. So the process of writing poetry is incomplete if there's no reader to interpret it. So thank you so much for taking out the time to reading my work and making it a part of your lives. And thank you, Sohail. Thank you, the book bakers, for making the journey of publishing such an easy one. Because I've heard stories of authors wherein, that is a proper horror story. Wherein you go from publisher to publisher, and thankfully I didn't have to go through the process. Sohail took care of everything. And genuinely a very, very resourceful and friendly agency to work with.
Yeah, the book bakers, Mr. Sohail Mathur. He's the hero. He's the superhero.
Yeah, so he is the hero in the land of first-time authors, no? Because you approach all these publishers, so many people are writing. They're not going to take the time out, to ensure that the right person is reading the right kind of material.
Correct, yeah.
Someone might get your book who's not your target audience at all. So it's really important to have someone who knows the ins and outs of the industry and who knows the right people to pitch the right genre of book to.
Correct,
which is why I am all in for literary agencies and the book bakers.
Yes, you did the right choice. And before we go out, also like to tell our listeners that once you read the book, the stories will stay with you for a while. Because after having a conversation with Sanah and after her narration, it has, sunk into me the stories, the poetries, whatever she has narrated. So you guys are going to really enjoy this read. So thank you, Sanah, for coming on my show.
And don't zone out while reading. That's all.
Yeah, don't zone out. After that, you can. Well, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for listening, thanks for supporting, and I will see you in my next episode with another exciting topic. Since my podcast has only one rule, and that is no topic is off limits. Thanks once again, and ciao.